So we want to calculate the value of stock for Kasova Solar existing in the Katanga region of DRC. So because of increased mining activities, the company has prospered and expects to continue to do well in the near term. The company will pay 0.75 dividend to shareholders 1 year from now. Shareholders believe that Kasova will increase that dividend at 15% for subsequent 5 years before settling down in the long run. For you to understand this, or jargon, I'll take you to the most basic. Point number one, when you hear that the company has declared dividends now, that is called T0. So if you hear that Kasova has declared 10-quarter dividend now, that is T0. If you hear that Kasova has declared dividend of 10-quarter 1 year from now, that is D1. If you're using the number line, you need to make these clear distinctions. 0, 1, 2, 3. So I was trying to relate to that when you're given dividend, there will be a growth rate, for instance, 8%. So using the constant growth model, 10-quarter can grow to year 1, year 2, year 3 using the discount models. So D1 is equal to D0, 1 plus growth. So this would be 10-quarter, 1.08. The power 1, the difference in the years is what comes as a power. So this is 10.8, which comes here, 10.8. Then to get D2, I'm trying to quicken your way of thinking. This is D1, 1 plus G to the power 2. So this is 10 times 1.08 to the power 2. So those of you with calculators, 1.08 squared times 10 is equal to 11.66. So this is what you get for your what? Year 2, 11.66. So I say there's no harm. If you found your growth rate as 8%, just put 1.08 and keep multiplying the subsequent years with 1.08. So 10 times 1.08, 10.08. 10.08 times 1.08, 11.66. 11.66 times 1.08, it goes on and on. This will be 12.60. Are we together? All right. Are we together?
Yes, we are.
So if that's clear, so tell me, how do we get to D3? The two ways for getting D3.
It's 10 bracket 1.08 to the power 3. So we found 12.597.12. After we know the square root, but we did to the 10.8 to the power 3. Then we multiplied by 10.
What do we get?
12.597.12.
13.60.
Oh, we did it.
What are the others getting? Huh? So this is 0, 1. Year 1.
I'm getting 12.
Year 2. Year 2 was what? 11.66. So 11.66 times 1.08. Year 3, 12.60. Okay. So this is 12.60 up to year 3. Let me end at year 3. Are we together so far? Up to year 3, are we together?
Yes.
So this
Yes.
is 12 point what? 12.60.
I still I still found 12.4. Okay.
10 times 1.08 to the power 3. 12.597. I just rounded off to 60. 59.7. How to get this one? Huh? Now, this is for the assumption that the growth rate is what? The growth rate for the first 3 years is 8%. Now, suppose growth rate changes from 8% to 6%. Can somebody guess how do we get the growth rate for year 4? We multiply this by 1 point what?
By
Multiplied by
1.06.
1.06, okay,
0.2.
which is 13.35. To the power more, all together. So if we're going to use
Yes.
the dividend growth, you cannot use D0 to get D4 because the growth rate has changed now. So you're going to use the adjacent here, the one behind it, D3, 1 plus growth. So this is the power 1. So what was our D3? 12.60. Then we're going to have 1.06. So this gives you what? Gives you 13.35. All together. Now, since this is the two models I'm trying to combine here. Here we're going to use Gordon's model, which says that if you're calculating a growth that has a foreseeable future, you use V0 is equal to D1 K minus G. I'm trying to give it. Yes, please.
1.0, the 6% what?
That's from year 4. We are told that suppose from year 1 to year 3, the growth rate is what? 8%. Then thereafter, the growth rate drops down to 6%. That's how the question is going. What do you do? How do you calculate the stock value now? So how do we calculate these values of stock? From 10 quarter, we're multiplying by 1.08 to get the subsequent years. 1.08 to get the subsequent years. Are we together? 1.08 to get the subsequent years. But from year 3 to year 4, it dropped to 6%. So we're going to multiply by 1.06. So far, we're together on the future values, which are the dividend values. Are we together?
Yes, we are.
So now,
Yes, we are.
suppose we're also given that the market rate is 10%, which is a great deal, 10%. I want us to learn how to calculate the value of what? Of stock today. So you divide this by 10%, 10%, 10% for the 3 years. So calculating the value of stock now, we're going to get the what? The dividend value over 1 plus KD, the power n, the respective n. So to calculate the value of stock for this particular one, we're just going to divide 1.10 goes 10% to the power 1. It's like we're using the present values. The way we do NPV, 1.10 to the power what? Let me use 16% just for argument's sake. Suppose we're given the market rate as 16%. How are we going to discount these values? Anyone? We'll be dividing each value by what? If we're given
1.1.
yes, 16%, what is the discount value for year 1, year 2, year 3? We're going to divide each of them by 1.1, 1.16. 1.16 to the power 1, 1.16 to the power 2, 1.16 to the power 3, so that we calculate the values of stock now. So let's evaluate the values of stock for each of them. So what is the 10.8 worth today? That one will be 9.31. Are we together? How about 11.66? We're going to have 8.6 8.67. Are we together? How about the 12.6? What do we get? 8.07. Are we together so far? So the value of stock for the first 3 years, we're going to get 26.05. So this is one of the formulas, part A. Part B, we now need to calculate the value of stock using Gordon's method here. So this is year 4. We need to find the value of stock as of year 3. So V3 is equal to D4 A minus G. So our D4 was 13.35. Then the cost of the required rate of return is 16%. So this is 0.16. Then 6% was our growth rate for the new period, 0.06. So what we're going to have here is 13.36 over the 10%, 16 minus 10%. So that one is what? 0.10. So here we're going to have 133.6 as a value of stock as of year 3. So we will need to now discount this value to the current year. We need to discount this to the value of stock number. This is the value of stock as of year 3. So similarly, hello, are we together so far?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
So if we're together as of year 3, 133.6, 133.6, this one, we now have to discount it. How do we discount it to the current year here? What do we do? So we're going to say 1.16 to the power 3. Are we together? Because it is as at year 3. So 133.6 divided by 1.16 to the power 3. So meaning the value of stock for the second phase, this one will be 85.59. So the total value of stock, therefore, we add these two, that's 26.05. So we're going to get the value of stock as 111.64. So this is how we get the 10 marks for the value of stock. Okay, so this being said, I want us now to religiously calculate the value of stock for this company. So let's identify whether we're given D1, D2, the growth, then we tabulate it together. Are we together? So slowly, let's go through it. Kasuwa Solar Company sells solar electricity throughout the Katanga region. Because of increased mining activities in the recent years, the company has prospered and expects to continue to do well in the near term. Now, here are the figures. The company will pay 0.75 per share to the shareholders 1 year from now. So tell me, what dividend is that? What data is that? Pardon?
Expected.
Expected.
Is it D0 or D1?
D1.
D1.
Why is it D1?
D1.
Isn't
Because it's succinctly mentioned that 1 year from now, right? So we indicate it as D1. So what are we given? We're told that the solar investors in Kasuba, investors believe that Kasuba Solar will increase that dividend at 15% per year for the subsequent 5 years. So what is that 15%? Before settling down to a growth.
The growth rate.
Percent.
The growth rate.
So 15% is a growth rate for the first phase of the 5 years, right? Then what is the 3%? It is another growth rate, right?
Growth rate.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So here we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So where are we going to put the 0.75? Is it here?
On year 1.
Yeah. Year 1, 0.75. Right?
Year 1.
Number here, the English is where people were thrown off. It will grow for how many years? 5 subsequent years. So
5 years.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, meaning it will end in year what? In year 6. So what growth rate is valid for the subsequent 5 years? 15%.
15.
So we're going to be multiplying each value by 1.15. Remember my shortcut? Very helpful. Because our growth rate here will be what? 15%. Thereafter, it will drop to what percent? 3%.
3%.
1.03 because our growth rate for phase 2 is what? 3%. Are we together? Then we also told that the market rate is 8%. So the KD is what? 8%. Are we together? So quickly, how do we get D1? 0.7 times 1.15, right? So D1 will be 0.8625. D2, just multiply the answer, keep answering, multiplying the answer, times 1.15. So this will be 0.9919. So these figures are small, so here usually I have small space. This is 0.8625. This one is 0.9919. So D3, we're just multiplying times 1.15. We're going to get 1.1407. 1407. So this is 1407. In year 5, we're multiplying by what? That was the year 3. That was year 3, right? D1 was 82. 25. D2 was 99. 19 was D2. 1 is already there. So this is D2. This is D3. This is D4, which is 1.1407. And D5 multiply by 1.15, we get 1.3118. 118. That is D5. Then D6, multiply this one by 1.15. This is 1.5086. 5085. That is D6. 1.5086. 85. So for D7, what do we do? We multiply it by what?
We multiply
1.03.
1.1.
Why? Because the
1.03.
growth
Yeah.
has changed. So this is 55, what? 38. So we're only interested up to a 6 here. So to discount these figures, so we need to get the growth rate for the first phase. We can call this the first phase. So we're going to divide each of them by what? The discount rate, which is 8%. So this one will multiply by, or divide it by, if you're multiplying, you can multiply by 1.08 to the power -1. This is 1.08 to the power -2. 1.08 to the power -3. 1.08 to the power -4. All together. So we're discounting each of these ones based on their years. In fact, we're starting with this figure, 0.7 to the power -1. I repeat, all together so far. Are you sure? Is everyone on the same page? So we want to calculate.
Okay, for me, I would like to ask if you said you can either multiply or divide.
By saying you can either multiply or divide, I simply meant
Multiply by negative.
if you have, for instance, 10 kwacha divided by 1.08 to the power 1. This is the same in mathematics as dividing by 1.08 to the power -1. Because this negative means that it was dividing. If you have
Okay.
divided by 1.0,
Okay, so you can choose whichever.
yes, it's the same as 10 times 1.08 to the power -. It's one and the same thing. You're just using different versions. Is that clear?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
All right. So due to space, I'm trying to ensure that I don't miss my calculations here. All right. So what next follows? What do we do, Maggie? After finding these are the future values, we want to know the value of stock in year 0. Maybe let me wrap this so that I can make my board clear. I have all the figures there. Okay. Okay, so here we're going to divide this one by what? 1.08 to the power what? 1.08 to the power 1. This one would be 0.8 to 8625. 1.08 to the power what? 2. This one will be what? 0.9918 divided by 1.08 to the power what? The power 3. And this one 1.1402 to the power 1.08 to the power what? 4. 1.3118. So you're getting the concept. So once we total these ones up, the total we're going to get, okay, the value of stock will be for phase A. But we're not done yet. Can somebody tell me this is value of stock the price as of year 7? What do we do at this stage? If you listen carefully, what do we do to this 1.5538?
We divide it
We
by
discount
K.
it.
Pardon? We divided by
K minus G.
K minus G. Is that true? Yes. So we'll discount it. We'll divide it by K minus G by taking it a step backward. So this will be V what? V6 will be D7 K minus G, correct? So this would be what? 1.5538 divided by what? Divided by what?
K minus G, K D.
Okay, in this case?
1.03.
That's okay.
8%.
Good. 8%.
1.08.
No,
1.08.
Minus what? The G?
0.03.
Excellent. 0.03. All right. So when we calculate it, we're getting an answer 31.08. What do we call this value? And what we do to this value? This is a value of stock as of year 6. So now we discount this value to present. How do we discount it?
Divide by 1.0, the growth rate.
Good. 1.08 to the power.
The power 3 or to the power 6.
Because you're used to the previous one, yeah. The power 6, because this is where we are. So that we discount it here. So this one is going to give us -6. So here we're going to get 19.58. What do you do to 19.58?
To add it to the first phase.
Yes, the first phase, which we had about 4.42. When we added the first phase, we're getting a total of 24. Watch. This is the cost of stock as of now. This is a value of stock as of now. So it is some tedious but worthwhile. The time value is very dangerous. If you follow this carefully, it will redeem you. All together?
Yes.
All right. Any questions? Anyone behind?
Yes, I would like to ask. Yes, so there are different methods of finding this. So anyway, it's kind of complicated. So what key factor do you consider to know that, okay, in this question, I'm supposed to do this and this and this? Is it when you're given two growth rates, or like what can you point out in the question?
Okay, there's a question for everyone. How do you know? Usually, to start with, for most cases in your exam setup, for stock valuation, it's a multi-stage. No two ways about it. So whenever there are two growth rates, you could even have 3 growth rates for complex questions. Yeah, where you're going to have multi-phase, but the principle is still the same. You would be told that the growth rate is applicable for the first particular number of years, then the next years it becomes a combination of two models, Gordon's model and the growth model. If you hear that growth rate will grow for a foreseeable future thereafter, just know that we're going to include Gordon's model. So growth rate of 3% was perpetual afterwards. So the question again is, how do we tell? the questions will lead you. There'll be two phases. It'll tell you 1 year from now for the first 3 years. Thereafter, it will continue. So just know that this is a multi-stage phase of growth rate. But if it's very basic and it just wants you to pass, it just tell you to say it will grow, find the growth rate for the next 3 years and you discount them. It's the same thing. So really, I don't know how best to answer a question, but you could tell from how it's phrased. It'll give you stages and phases. It'll be succinct to be clear. Okay, any other questions? Okay. So I've sent this pamphlet, the groups, the one without solutions. And those that got the one with solutions, please make sure that you go through the cardinal ones, work as well on valuation. I think I'll look at that tomorrow. But for today, I wanted to look at the toughest question on stock valuation. It is this one we just looked at. The rest are less cumbersome. I hope this was helpful. We shall meet again